Hey, honey, it's Steve again. Well, thank you guys for watching me and Miss Ruby's video yesterday. But I was sitting here doing some research, and I just wanted to clarify some stuff. I know that I hit the newspaper. My mom always told me I was going to be famous one day. I just didn't know when or what it was going to be about. So I guess I'm the biggest outlaw here in Huntington now. So, lock up the women and children. But anyway, basically, what I'll be doing this afternoon or this evening, it's the evening now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post my case. I'm having difficulty finding a lawyer here in Angelina County who wants to take this case, and it's not because I'm guilty. The reason why they're giving me is because the fact is that you know what, well, you can I will charge you, but these cases are not going to stick. And the second thing is that you know what, even if we pursue the civil lawsuit that he said it went for, he said, you know what, there's no money in Huntington anyway. So I made the decision that I wasn't going to right now. I'm not going to pursue the civil matter until after this is over with, and then I'm going to make a determination of how further I go with it. However, what I did want to clarify, because I've gotten some negative and positive feedback, and I want to thank everybody both for giving negative and positive feedback. So what I wanted to do is come on person and let you guys know and this is actually honest. This is actually what I'm going to say, what that I actually did. Okay. Now, in the state of Texas or United States of America, you're innocent until proven guilty. However, the fact is there's a lot of individuals out there now that just say he's guilty just because he appeared in the paper. Um, but it's funny, they won't read the recipes in there, what they read about my butt, and everybody gets to know it. Everybody ever talks about Lufkin News until I get in there. So anyway, so here is the list of things that I have done, and I'm gonna bring it to you, Huntington, and you make the determination, or you may have questions about why these actions were done or were taken or whatever. Like I said, I am going to release this evening the complete write up that I have, along with links that you can go through that actually supports my case. Um, Now, a lot of people say that, you know what, why are you doing this? Because, you shouldn't be doing this out of court. We don't even know your business or whatever. And it's going to let them know, what strategy you're using. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to rely probably on a public defender. Here's the reason why. When I thought about it, because the fact is that a public defender, he lives in the county, and he needs to draw a salary too, even though they're not salary when they do pro bono. The reason why they like to do it is because the fact is it gets them in front of the judge. It gets them familiar with the judge. The judge gets to be familiar with them. So it's actually exposure for them that they don't have to pay for. Okay. Now, let me get to it, because I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, because I know you don't like long videos, and I'm sorry. I like to talk. Okay. So, sir, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen, this is my case. Okay. Number one, these are things that I have done. Number one, having been a witness to a crime being committed, I did what every law enforcement agency has asked me to do, from Homeland Security, the FBI, ATF, CIA, FBI, Border Patrol, even local and state, okay, have been encouraging all members that when we see a crime, report it, period. No matter if we think it's right, wrong, and different, report it so they can do the proper investigation. This is what I did. Now, whenever someone says, well, it's a felony, but it really wasn't that because he didn't use a knife or a sword or a gun or some other instrument, ladies and gentlemen, just let me make this point real quick. A felony can be committed by all those instruments, but it also can be committed by just one swipe of the pen. What they were doing was illegal. The city attorney agreed that he had to look it up because he said I think he's right. So that there tells you, right, whatever, that I did stand up and that I was vindicated in that aspect, because the city attorney did say, you can't sign this today until it's further researched, and that's all I was asking for. Um, of my own willing, without being told or asked or advised or recognized that there was a possibility that I may end up in trouble, I removed myself from the situation. Quickly, quietly, I never looked or said anything directly to anyone. I did not even mumble on the proceedings. I waited till out of the earshot and make a statement of what I just heard and witnessed. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and say it, whatever. I said, this is bullshit. I said, effing bullshit. Okay, I don't want to say it loud because remember your kids watching. So anyway, I said, bullshit. Away from anybody's earshot. As soon as I left that room, they shut the doors because they knew what was getting ready to happen because there was 4 officers there and there's only usually 2, so they were getting ready to take me down any way, shape, form, or fashion. I was not leaving that establishment without some kind of confrontation with the police. 3. Let's see. Okay, 3. At all times, I was very courteous to law enforcement and obeyed all commands that I was physically capable of performing with my disabilities. I politely asked the officer 4 times what I was charged with. I did not receive an answer until I was back at the headquarters in Lufkin, and they had to call down to the city attorney and to Mr. Stewart to actually form the charges. Now, what I was hauled in on, or what they detained me for and arrested me for, was the fact is I'm using vulgarity. Okay. Now, this is a fine line. I know we're in Southeast Texas in the Bible Belt. However, the fact is, Shakespeare once quoted, one person's vulgarity is another man's lyric. So when we look at the Constitution, we state that vulgarity, in its sense, is not against the law. It may offend people. It may not be the proper Christian thing to do. However, the fact is, under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, I am allowed to say that unless, per Texas state law, it states that I initiated some type of fighting words. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Texas fighting words is on the books. What the Texas fighting words determines is the fact is I was provoking some type of provocation by cussing or saying or trying to word I'm looking for. Nah. Trying to act them. I'd say something to make them want to act physically to me. Now we see a point of this is because the fact is we know now, and we all watch the news, is that now we see cops or officers, law enforcement officers, that are going through these riots and they stand their ground. They have, of course, protective gear, but they stand their ground. The reason why is because per First Amendment rights, these individuals can say whatever they want to say, okay, for freedom of expression. And the officer's job is just to provide for security to make sure that they do not progress any further in this type of behavior. The officer's job is not there to arrest. The officer's job is to control the protest. Period. Okay, this did not happen here. This was being provoked. The officer was actually trying to provoke me into a serious matter. I refused. Now, when I mentioned my disabilities, I'm 100% disabled. My rotator cuff is gone. You cannot even see it on. You cannot even hardly see it on the X-rays that I get provided from the VA. My cartilage in my knees are gone. My sciatic nerve is paralyzed, which I have problems. So I have physical problems that don't allow me to do actually what I want to do. Okay, I'm not 25 anymore. I understand that, but I got other physical abilities that make it even more difficult. So, with this being said, I was asked to go, and the details are in the statement I'm getting ready to put out, and the details will show you exactly how I was treated outside of that building. Okay, what I did is did I ever break the law? I never said anything derogatory to anyone, and my comments were just made to myself. Now, the only disruption to the proceedings was the action taken by the officers. This could have been easily handled outside. I restrained my pain and endured pain totally to comply with officers' wishes. I withstood this pain even as my shoulder popped out, and I had experienced back spasms from my side because they were trying to push me where my side didn't want to go, and I couldn't tell them it's paralyzed. I can't go that way. That's what I was trying to do. So when I got to Lufkin jail, they have benches there. I had to lay down on that bench and pop my shoulder back in place, and then get my knee back in place. They kind of popped that out too. That's in the details as well. However, the fact is that I was provided no medical attention. I didn't ask for any medical attention because I knew that it was just going to be one big hassle, and I'm used to popping it back in myself or whatever. However, the fact is they did cause that, and I just want to be everybody aware. Now, with this being said, okay, I asked the question, and I don't understand this, and hopefully somebody can answer this for me, because we had 3 officers from the Huntington Police Department, and our constable, and the sheriff there, okay? If I had done anything wrong in their eyes, why did a Lufkin officer arrest me? Why didn't they perform their duty? This is a matter of jurisdiction. Now, jurisdiction, he had the right, okay, to, well, supposedly he had the right to confront me. However, the fact is, when it comes down to the charging and whatever information, he has no right to do that. It's not his jurisdiction. The only way to properly do that was to ask Sheriff Everly if he could do so. This was not done in my presence. As Officer Everly and he walked back into the room, he went to the foyer where it's visually, and everybody's been there. It's very visible. I mean, from the front door, but it has an acoustic manner to it because it kind of echoes in there, especially when nobody's there. He called 3 times on his radio and asked dispatch, and I assume his supervisor, I don't know who it was, what do I charge him with? He didn't know, because I had explained to him that, sir, vulgarity is protected by my First Amendment. So then he proceeded into finding out something he could haul me in on. Okay. Now, did I get charged at that present time? No, sir. I went to the vehicle, was progressing to load up, and you'll read the story here as well. But anyway, progressing to load up. Okay. When I asked the officer for another time, I said, sir, can you just please tell me what I'm being detained for? What penal code am I being detained for? Both officers, Wade and Curry, both just said, you know what you did. I then replied, no, sir, I don't know what I did. That's why I'm asking you. You know what you did. Okay. Now, this is where it gets worse. This is what you have to read about, because the fact is, I'm not going to go to it on detail, because the fact is that, number one, is that, you know what? I know some of the public opinion out there is like, oh my God, he's just in this for a lawsuit or whatever. No, that's not the case. The fact is, I'm just reporting to you exactly what happened to me after I left that meeting. Now, these facts they're not disputed. These facts that I'm producing to you, they have not been addressed by the city council. They have not been addressed by the officers. There has not been anyone that actually stated why I was charged, and why after the conversation with the city manager and Mr. Bill Stewart did my charges go up. Because the jailer even had come in and asked me, he said, I don't know what's taking so long. He said he's down there, he's going to have to make a call to find out what to charge you with. Okay. So take that as much, but that's what happened. That was a conversation between me and the jailer. And also, he had come in there and told me, man, I got your paperwork. He said, I don't have your paperwork, man. He said, I know you can make bail right now. He said, but I don't have your paperwork because I don't know what they're charging you with. He said, do you want to call your wife? Call her, okay, and let her know that we're still waiting on the paperwork. My wife called 3 times knowing where I was at, because I had told my wife before I left here that something of this nature was going to happen sooner or later. They were gunning for me. I knew it. So I take the hit for that or whatever. However, the fact is that that's neither here nor there on the subject matter that I'm trying to disclose. I'm getting off on tangent. I'm sorry, and I have to keep this under the time limit. My time limit's 30 minutes, man. You know what? I can't talk more than 30 minutes. Well, I can, but I can't. Okay. So the only disruption to the proceedings was handled by the officers. Okay. At this particular time, I want to stipulate, I was not asked to leave. The gavel never pounded. I was never warned in a proper manner in Robert's Rules of Order, sir, you're out of order. One more outburst from you, sir, and you'll be removed from these proceedings. Now, if you ever watch Judge Judy, all these on whatever, before you remove somebody from a courtroom, you have to identify them and warn them first. You need to have a warning before. If they continue in this matter, then they are actually breaking a law, or not breaking the law, but they are against Robert's Rules of Order, and they are subject, or could be subject of, interrupting a meeting, which interrupting a meeting is not against the law. All you are asked to do is be escorted out, or you need to leave the premises. I did that voluntarily. The reason why was because the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, I was caught in a dilemma. And here's the dilemma. Per state law, okay, and United States law, if you see a crime being committed, if you see a felony being committed, and you do not report that at one time, and you do not warn that individual of the manner of what they're doing, or if they're breaking a law, or letting them know that you're aware that they're breaking a law, you can be held accountable as well. Because the fact is that when it comes to push and shove, what they're going to say is that, you know what? What they're going to say to you, were you there? Yes, sir. Did you hear this? Yes, sir. Did you object to this? No, sir. Guilty as charged. You're guilty with wrong with the rest of them. Okay? Because I didn't speak out. So the dilemma is that do I potentially cause harm to myself by not reporting this to the individuals and allowing them time to think about it, which is exactly what happened. Say, look, you can't do this. It's breaking the law. Okay. Allowing the members to realize that we may be breaking the law here, which was confirmed by the city attorney that would not let them sign that, would not like to let them sign that in law, because he had to double check, because he realized I had a good legal point that was never addressed, and their counsel was unaware of what they were actually doing. The counsel was totally aware they were about to commit a felony. I remind him of that. I let them know there's some. I was not being agitated. I just was trying to inform these individuals. You can't do that, sir. You can't do that. It's against the law. Okay. Now, with that being said, okay, that was my dilemma. I asked you what you would do. Okay. Now, the reason for my outburst, well, not outburst, but the reason why I was mumbling to myself when I walked out of the door, okay, out into the hallway, was bullshit. It's like I could not, my brain could not wrap my brain housing group onto the fact that these individuals were about to do something that was a felony that the public never would have known any way about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this amendment was provided and told to the public to be that it was going to be discussion on the ball fields, the utilities, the maintenance, and also the lights, because the city is preparing to take over these ball fields. The mayor, Frank Davis, said, we're going to put in a law. I want to put in a law on top of this, that no girls can play softball on Sunday. Here's our wording here that we need to pay attention to. No girls. Okay. Does he mention boys? No. Does he mention church groups? No. Who are you exactly are you talking or trying to refrain from actually using this field? It was not answered. So the fact of the matter is, and this gets into the religious question, and I've asked this before, is the fact is that, look, you ladies and gentlemen, okay, are responsible for your religion and your family, okay? If you don't want your daughter playing softball on Sunday, then you don't let her go play softball on Sunday, period. You've made other arrangements, okay? She goes to church at night. But ladies and gentlemen, the city cannot tell you when you can and cannot play softball, just because the fact is they recognize that it's a very religious holiday, and they cannot determine how one person spends the Sabbath. What's next, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you. If I'm getting serious again, I'm sorry. But if they come up with you know what, we don't want you to we want you to hide your vehicles on Sunday because it doesn't appear appropriate that you're not in church. That could come next. What's next? You can't go fishing on Sunday because the fact is, you know what? It's Sunday morning, you should be in church. That would put a big damper into our hunting population, because I know you as well as you guys. Don't lie to me. I know you're out there smiling, because the fact is that your church attendance goes down during hunting season. Okay? Okay? It doesn't matter, because the fact is that, you know what, you're trying to make a statement. What it is that, you know what, you wake up in the morning, you get up and say, I'm going to go to church, but then you look at the weather outside and you say, dang, they ain't going to be a day good hunting. I need to go hunt today. I need to go hunt today, Lord, understand. I'll talk to him when I get on the stand. Okay? So my question, my point is that where does it end? If you start something like this, where does it end? Okay, I mean, come on, man. I mean, and the Constitution, and the Texas Constitution allows for that, and they say, come on, man, this is against the law. You can't dictate, okay, how a person chooses to celebrate the Sabbath. Okay, we all different. We have different religions. We have different beliefs. We have different things. I'm sorry, people. That's just the way it is. But we all believe, I think, that we believe in a superior being up there that helped us, because I'll guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, I was over in combat, and I guarantee you, I'd never seen an atheist in a foxhole. I'd never seen an agnostic in a fighting hole. To be honest with you, when I was in combat, I see a lot of individuals convert over to Christianity right then, and they still go to church. So the fact is that you can't determine that this is where they broke the law, and it's actually to a felony standard to where they were taking it. Luckily, okay, however you want to look at it, luckily, okay, I spoke out. By me speaking out and advising them that they were breaking the law, which they say was interrupting the meeting, what the end result was is that this law did not make it through the path of scrutiny because the city attorney says he's right. I've got to do some research on this. So we stop the felony from being committed. Now, you say a law. Well, that's the way Frank Harris put it, was a law. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. A city municipality cannot make a law. A city municipality only can make an ordinance. That ordinance is illegal if it goes against the laws of the United States of America and it goes against Texas. It cannot be enforced. Case in point, what are you going to do if there's a group of softball girls out there playing softball on their own because they want to? What are you going to do? Are you going to arrest them? What penalty is derived that they never discussed? The penalty of somebody being out there out there on a softball field during church. Okay. So a lot of things can go in your mind or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that how far can they take this law? Look to the future. Look and see what's the possible ramifications of this thing if they want to pass something else like this, you know? Okay. The next thing, my oath to this country is to protect and serve and to participate and do my civic duty as a citizen. These rights are given to me by our state of Texas and our federal constitution. I use my First Amendment right in the same manner in which it was written. And for the record, wanted to all to know I object to these proceedings. My oath of enlistment has not ended yet. No one has relieved me of my duty. I still work and use the laws that are provided to me. I have firsthand witnessed gentlemen and ladies that have fought and died right beside me doing the same. Case in point, I'm not tooting my own feathers. I'm not doing that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying that you need to take a look at these laws or ordinances that these individuals are proposing, because the fact is that, are you sure that you want that law for somebody that actually paid the price for you to make that decision? Are you able to say that that law would be beneficial to the community and to the whole state and the whole United States if we do this because we're doing the right thing legally? I think the men and women who actually have served this country, disabled, whatever their status is, okay, whether you think they deserve it or not, your respect. That's up to you. However, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, one thing is that this is what an individual, these rights that we have and that I exercise today, okay, or when I got kicked out, were something somebody fought for. Something somebody that laid down their life for because they believed that these principles were going to be carried forward and even after they were gone. If you agree with the war or whatever, that's fine. Us veterans have to deal with that all the time because we get deals with it's Bush's war, this is war, you were against this or whatever, and we take the flak for that. However, the fact is, any individual, I don't care who you are, what service you are, or if you served in any service at all, everyone needs to be reminded that someone, okay, these laws that we're passing or these ordinances we're passing paid the price for us to be able to do so. So we better get it right because they are counting on you to make the right decisions. They entrusted you that you can have a better life without me, okay, without me in it. You can participate and carry on by using the guides and the laws and the statutes that were produced by the United States of America and the state of Texas. There is nowhere in these documents that says except for Huntington. There's nowhere in these documents that says, well, Huntington can do this. No, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, no. The law is the law, and everyone is required to follow it. There are ordinances made all the time, yes, in the best interest of the municipality, yes. I mean, chickens crossing the road, livestock, things of this nature, that are indicative to our town. Okay, we live in a rural place, it's indicative to our town. But when you cross the line of the ordinance protecting the town to mandating the difference between church and state, ladies and gentlemen, that's a felony. It is actually in the Constitution that we separate church from state. A state cannot dictate when a person can pray, and they cannot allow them not to pray. I'll give you a wild fest example. Let's say, for example, that we had a group of people, okay, that were religious. I'm not going to say any group or anything. I'm just going to say that we have a group that were nice. They were always contribute. But they have a different religion. And once a month on Sunday, they go out and they want to have a circle, and they want to have a circle for the big enough church They want to hold hands and say a prayer outside. Thank the Lord for what they've got today. Thank the Lord for the grass that's underneath their feet, the sun that's over the top of their head, and the air they breathe, and the food that they can eat when they get there, when they get home. And thank Him out in open in front of God and everybody. Sounds like a good idea, don't it? I mean, that's something that everybody would say, you know what? That would be a good idea. That way we all church members and all of us can get together as a community. We can hold hands and we can say a prayer unanimously together. That's what church is all about. So no one should be able to tell any religion when you can and you cannot pray, when you have to be in church, when you don't, or dictate when you don't have to be in church. And this is what happened, because the fact is they're saying, no, you can't be in a church in the morning where people can see you or the public can see you, but you can come on the baseball field between 1 and 5 because there's not that much traffic then because everybody's home. And it doesn't allow for the fact is, you know what, people can go by and say, you know, they're out there. They should be in church. They should be in church. It's not our decision, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but it's not our decision how the Lord talks to people. And it's not our decision when He moves them to go to church. And we should have no part in that. We should have no way dictating that. Miss Ruby had a great point that I didn't think about. She said, you know what, if we close down the softball field, okay, then it's mandatory. We've got to close down Centennial Park, all the properties that we own or that we have claim to or whatever through TxDOT, of course. We have to shut those down too. So in other words, we're declaring an ordinance that basically what is happening is we're declaring an ordinance that's kind of mandatory that you can't be outside your house, okay, participating in an event during times that the city council deems that you need to be in church. Now, maybe that sounds far-fetched from you. I don't, but I'm just saying, when I do my research and I look, that is what this law or ordinance would pertain to. Okay. Because how far could it go? If they get this law or ordinance on the books, then they can always add to it. Okay. So this is the possibility. Do I think the city council had any intention of doing that, looking into the future and what they were actually doing? No, ma'am, I don't, because I think they were they were uninformed of the magnitude of the decision they were about to make. I think there's a lot of times where the city council is uninformed on those decisions they're made because the fact is they do not understand the repercussions to us, the working man, okay, what their decisions has to do with us and how it affects our life. I think they're making uninformed decisions because the fact is that they don't look at the projects and the decisions they have to make in a legal fashion. Can we do this? Is it against the law? Do we need to have a public hearing as required by law? Those are the questions that need to be asked too, and hopefully we can get some answers to. I don't know. I don't know at this time if you agree with me or not. I'd like to think you would understand that the precedent in this case here is going to be reverberated throughout the town, because one of the things is going to be saying you can't fight City Hall, and if you go up there and voice your opinion, you're going to get arrested, just like Mr. DuBose did. There's no sense in you go to a city council meeting because the fact is that they're just going to do whatever they want to do anyway, and you don't have any say so because you weren't provided a public meeting or a public hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, a public workshop is not a public hearing. It's not. It is advertised. It is posted as a workshop. It is no way, shape, form, or fashion the same thing as a public hearing. A public hearing is when it's time for the city council to sit down and it's our turn to talk. If you go to a city council meeting about Robert's Rules of Order, you are required, okay, at some points during this time to sit down and shut up. Okay. They exercised that on me. However, the fact is it was illegal. But anyway, so why can't they be held to the same principle? To go to and try this. I'll try this. We're going to have a town meeting. Miss Anna sent me. They're going to have a town meeting, I think, on Monday, I believe, at 5:30. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, because I have been banned from even going up in there. I've been kicked out of a lot of places before, but I ain't never been kicked out of City Hall. But so when you have this public meeting, okay, they do not have the floor. This is your time to address them, and they have to shut up. And they got to listen. We got to do it. They got to do it. Law works both ways. I'm sorry. That's just the way, that's the way the Lord put it. I mean, that's the way the Lord helped these boys write this Constitution. You know what? That's just the way He wants it to be. Equal for everybody. So basically, what these charges are saying is this, okay? When you break it down like a shotgun, basically what they're saying is that I have a right, without any repercussions about getting arrested, nothing happening to me, whatever. I would have a right to go up there in front of the city hall building and I can burn a flag. But I can't, on exiting a building, mumble to myself the F word. I don't know the F word. Okay, it is. So a lot of people, it's vulgar, and so But unfortunately for me, being in the military, that was a second language. Okay. And the other issue is the fact is that they didn't even hear the other cuss word that they considered a cuss word was BS, bullshit. Okay. They only heard the F word, and that's all they heard, and the other one they didn't mind. So the fact is that this is my case, okay, and this is what this is all about. Um, if this president goes through, okay, and this is not addressed by the public, okay, then we lose ground because now the city council knows that all we have to do is threaten you, and we'll handle. And this president's like, we will handle you like we held Mr. DuBose. We've done it before. That's the message that's being set out, city council. If you come in here and you disagree with us and you voice your opinion, okay, you will be arrested. Arrested illegally, because the fact is that you were not called to order and you were not asked to leave the proceedings. You were not escorted out, which is the proper way of doing something. And it's okay, because don't get it confused. Robert's Rules of Order, okay, is not a law. It's a guideline. It's not a deadline. It's a guideline. The law is what you have to go to. So they're utilizing a rule, okay, that they want to enforce because the fact is it's in their best interest to overshadow a law. Okay. Now, with that being said, okay, I'm going to end with this, and I'm going to get it under 30 minutes. But anyway, the Lady of Justice is blind. Okay. I don't know if you ever looked at Lady of Justice, but she's got a blindfold though. In her hand, she holds a scale with these little trays on the side. That means the fact is that the Lady of Justice cannot discriminate against by race, color, creed, religion, whatever, how you dress, how you talk, where you came from, whatever the situation may be. She's blind to all of that. The only thing that matters to her is the evidence that she weighs out on those scales. That's all I'm asking from the court system. Now, in closing, I said this before. Anyway, now here's my question to the city of Huntington, the citizens, the real citizens, the guys that get up and go to work, okay, have to drink this water, the ones who have to worry about their kids going to school, the ones who actually do the work and actually make this city thrive. It's the working man, okay? Sorry, but that's just the way it is. We weren't all born with silver spoons in our mouth, okay? We have to work for a living, okay? But my question to you is this, is that are you willing, the city of Huntington, are you willing to allow, now I'm not trying to say you got to this way, anyway, this is just a scenario. Is the city of Huntington, based on all these facts that I've provided you, is the city of Huntington willing to invest the money, okay, and putting me on trial? Because the fact is that here's what's going to happen, and I'll explain it to you. I'm going to go in there on the 27th, and I'm going to plead guilty or not guilty. Before that happens, the city attorney is going to come and he's going to offer me a deal to lessen my charges. I am going to refuse that. I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to defend myself, or I'm going to have to rely on a public defender. Now, that's one case. How much does that cost for him to show up? I don't know how much he charges an hour, but I know it's about $80 an hour he shows. He shows up. It's going to be about a 4-hour situation. So the fact is that he ain't going to be back in his office till after 4 hours. So you do the math. So case in point, let's say for example that they're a hung jury, which is the worst possible case scenario that could happen because it's a hung jury. Because I got to be tried again. That means the city of Huntington's got to try me again on these BS charges. Right? And then you can tack on there's another, but it's a bunch of hours. I don't know how much he's going to charge, but it's like a bunch of hours. So they come back guilty, but they say, you know what? Hey, you're guilty. Okay. Well, my choice is in. You know what? I'm going to appeal. I got a good case for appeal. I'm going to be accepted for appeal. Matter of fact, I can appeal within 30 days. I'm going to appeal the day that I get sentenced. I'm going to appeal. I'm appealing this case because the fact is, you know what? Hey, what makes these people listen? Okay. Question. Now let's say, okay, you appeal and you lose your case again. Okay, that's great. The state of Texas has or they deny my appeal. One of the two. The state of Texas has ended with this case. Okay, they have first right. However, the fact is, what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with a felony issue here. As soon as the state of Texas is done with me, then the next step is the federal government is going to come in and they're going to start an investigation and they're going to press charges or they're going to decide whether that decision was right or whatever. So the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. By the end of this little message that our city council is sending out to me, okay, it is going to cost the city ballpark. Okay, do the math. Okay, because I have to rely on some other sources. I'm not sure how much discount that the city attorney gets from the city. I'm not sure about all that. But anyway, if you do the math on any attorney that would take this case, the fact is that it would cost $50,000 in fees charged to you to bring me to court. Will cost the city of Huntington $50,000 based on all this evidence that I'm getting ready to provide you. Based on everything that you read in the paper or whatever, is it worth it? Because I seem to think this, you know what, just because I brought up some stuff that maybe, you know what, hey, first of all, it saved a potential for an original lawsuit. Because if anybody would have said, and I'm sure that there would be a lot of individuals on here that are upset because they're telling their children when they can and can't play ball. When you're talking about the city of Huntington, who their girls are one of the best in the state, and you're telling them they can't go out on Sunday and practice during the daylight hours and go to church at night. One of those council members said one time, you know what, if we don't allow these individuals and we don't provide the individuals with these services, they're going to get left behind. What did left behind mean? I asked, because they need to be playing more than the average bear. They need to be working and honing on them skills. So the fact of the matter is, the city of Huntington, guess what? To have a team that's representing you in the state finals or winning district or whatever the case may be, guess what? Okay, children should be able to go to school, go to church at night, and play ball all day on Sunday if you want to. But go have your butt in church at night. The city wants to make it up. If you go to church this morning, then you know what, you better be there tonight. We don't know what the penalty is, but if you ain't church on Sunday morning, then you have to have your butt in church on Sunday night. So anyway, I regress, and I'm sorry I'm taking too long. No matter what, whoever sees this, I hope they would speak out for me and my children, or my grandchildren too. We're a nation of laws, and those laws must be followed by all means necessary. What consider their status to be? Yes, I am guilty of being a United States Marine and actually a United States soldier. I'm guilty of being a damn good citizen. I am guilty of actually caring about this city to the point where I'm willing to stand up and spend jail time for it. Because I believe that the city of Huntington is worth it. Why? Everybody asks, well, what's in it for you? Whatever. No, because it's the right thing to do. I would like to believe that we, as a generation, as a group of people, that when we leave here, we leave something better for our children behind. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have a lot of individuals that are going to go to college. And if we do, there's going to be a lot of individuals that go to college, get a job, and they want to move back here home. That's what it's all about. This is our home. This is going to be our home 2 or 3 years after the city council is gone. We're still here. We're still here. So if we, I want to make one last point. This is, I promise. So we are known right now in Huntington. This is our reputation. Okay, everybody can agree with me. We're known as a speed trap in a town you can't cuss in. I'm Steve. Please welcome any feedback if there's any. Bye.